Hello friends, I am Dr. Manisha Devre, Assistant Professor from KVN Naik College, Nasik. Friends, in this series of lectures, we have started SYBSc Optics Physics Paper 2nd. We have, in the previous videos, we have seen the lens aberration. In that, we have seen different types of spherical aberrations. Uh, in today's video, we'll see the types of chromatic aberration. Friends, if the light rays coming from the object and falling on the lens are not chromatic, refractive index and hence focal length of the lens are different for the different wavelengths of light. Thus, the rays of the white light after refraction through the lens form the number of colored images of different sizes at different positions. This type of defect is known as chromatic aberration. Now, chromatic aberration along the axis of the lens is called as longitudinal or the axial chromatic aberration. And chromatic aberration in the transverse direction is known as lateral or transverse chromatic aberration. Now, axial chromatic aberration, when the parallel beam of white light is incident on the lens, it gets dispersed into its constituent 7 colors. The deviation produced by the lens is different for the different colors and its dispersed rays come to focus at different points on the axis of the lens. Now the refractive index of the material of the lens is different for the different colors. Refractive index of the material decreases with increase in the wavelength, correct? So from the equation 1 upon f is equal to mu minus 1 into 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2, the focal length of the lens is smaller for the violet rays than that for the red rays. Therefore, violet rays are brought to the focus at point closer to the lens than the red rays. The image due to the various other colors lie between the two extreme colors. Thus, a lens produces the number of colored images of white object resulting in the linear spectrum. The defect which results in blurring of the image due to the lens along its axis is called as axial or the longitudinal chromatic aberration. If FV and FR are the focal lengths corresponding to the violet and red color rays respectively, then mod of FR minus FV is taken as a measure of longitudinal chromatic aberration. This is the chromatic aberration in photography. Now friends, here is the longitudinal or the axial chromatic aberration. Um, LCA is the axial or the longitudinal distance between the two focal points for the given wavelength range. Now, as we know the relation, the focal length of the thin lens related to the refractive index of the material of the lens, it is given as 1 upon f is equal to mu minus 1 into 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2, where r1 and r2, these are the radii of curvature of the lens. Now, differentiating this equation with respect to uh, f, then we can write it as minus df upon f square. It is equal to d mu into 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2. But as we know that 1 upon r1 minus 1 upon r2 is equal to 1 upon f into mu minus 1. So we'll substitute these values and we can write minus df upon f square is equal to d mu into upon f into mu minus 1. But minus df upon f is equal to d mu upon mu minus 1. But the quantity d mu upon mu minus 1 is called as dispersive power, that is omega of the material of the lens. So d mu upon mu minus 1 is equal to omega, where mu is the mean refractive index, that is refractive index of the yellow color, and d mu is the difference in the refractive indices corresponding to the extreme colors, that is violet and red. So comparing these two equations, we can write omega is equal to minus df upon f and df is equal to minus omega into f. Thus, for the longitudinal chromatic aberration, dispersive power into mean focal length. Now, here we can see the lateral or the transverse chromatic aberration. As we know that the focal length of the lens depends upon the wavelength of the light. So, the distance of the image from the lens is different for different wavelengths or the colors. As the magnification of the image depends on the focal length, the size of the image is different for the different colors. This type of defect is called as the lateral chromatic aberration. And HR minus HV is taken as the measure of the lateral chromatic aberration. See, now you can see in this figure. Now, achromatism of the lenses which are in contact and they are separated by some finite distance. Now, achromatism means any optical system free from chromatic aberration is called as achromatic system. Ideally, a chromatic system should form images of the same size and only one position for all the wavelengths. But this condition must be satisfied not only for one position of the object but for all positions. Now, when two or the more lenses are combined together in such a way that the combination is free from chromatic aberration, then such type of combination is called as achromatic combination. Practically, it is not possible to achieve the ideal achromatism, but partial achromatism can be achieved by eliminating either the longitudinal or lateral chromatic aberration for one distance of any object only. Achromatic combination of the two lenses in contact. Now, we have seen that the image due to any single lens will have the defect due to chromatic aberration. However, with the two lenses, this defect can be reduced. Such a combination is called as achromatic combination. Now, consider these two lenses which are having focal length f1 and f2. Okay, and omega 1 and omega 2 may be their dispersive powers respectively. If the two lenses are kept in contact, the equivalent focal length of the combination is given as 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2. But as we know that for the combination to be achromatic, for the focal lengths for the different colors must be same. So d of 1 upon f is equal to 0. So 1 upon f is 1 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2. So we'll substitute the value of 1 upon f as d of 1 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2 is equal to 0. So when we'll separate it, it will be minus df1 upon f1 square minus df2 upon f2 square, which is equal to 0. But as we know that minus df upon f is nothing but omega, that is dispersive power. So we can write this as omega 1 upon f1 plus omega 2 upon f2, it is equal to 0. Since the dispersive power of the lens is a positive quantity, from this equation we can see that for an achromatic combination of the lenses in contact, two lenses must be of opposite type. That is, one is converging and the other must be diverging. Further, if the two lenses are of same material, that is omega 1 is equal to omega 2, then we can write this equation as omega 1 upon f1 plus omega 2 upon f2, it is equal to 0. Correct? Omega 1 will get cancelled and we can write 1 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2 is equal to 0. 1 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2 is equal to 1 upon f. So 1 upon f is equal to 0, which gives us f is equal to infinity, which is absurd since the combination would behave like a ordinary glass plate and not as a lens. So achromatism is impossible if the lenses are of same material. Thus, for the achromatic combination of the two lenses in contact, the lenses must be made up of from different types of glasses and one lens must be converging and other must be diverging. And a suitable combination of converging and diverging lenses of different materials such as crown, flint can be serve as a achromatic doublet. Here it is. Now, achromatic combination of the two coaxial thin lenses separated from each other. Now, the focal length f of the combination is given as 1 upon f is equal to 1 upon f1 plus 1 upon f2 minus x upon f1, f2. Okay, f1 and f2, these are the focal lengths which are separated by the distance x. For the optical system to be achromatic, d of 1 upon f is equal to 0. Correct? So, we'll substitute the value of 1 upon f now. So, d of 1 upon f1 plus d of 1 upon f2 plus minus x d of 1 upon f1 f2 is equal to 0. So, after solving it, we can write it as minus df1 upon f1 square minus df2 upon f2 square minus x times minus df1 upon f1 square f2 minus df2 upon f2 square f1, which is equal to 0. But as we know that minus df upon f is equal to omega, we can write it as omega 1 upon f1 plus omega 2 upon f2 minus x times omega 1 upon f1 f2 plus omega 2 upon f1 f2, which is equal to 0. So after solving it, omega 1 upon f1 plus omega 2 upon f2, it is equal to, now when x will go to the right hand side, it will become positive. So x upon f1 f2 into omega 1 plus omega 2. But now we have to find out its LCM. So omega 1 f2 plus omega 2 f1 upon f1 f2 is equal to x upon f1 f2 omega 1 plus omega 2. As we know want the value of x, we can write it as, after rearranging the terms, omega 1 f2 plus omega 2 f1 upon omega 1 plus omega 2. Now if the lenses are made up of same material, then omega 1 is equal to omega 2 is equal to omega, and this equation will become x is equal to 1 upon 2 f1 plus f2.